Hello again and welcome to Charles Kelly Money Tips. In case you don't know me, I'm Charles Kelly, the author of Yes, Money Can Buy You Happiness, which is a book about money and how to manage money, how to make money, how to enjoy money. And I also run a podcast called Money Tips, which you can find on iTunes, Stitcher and other platforms, as well as on my website, moneytipsdaily.com. So I hope you can tune in again to some of these episodes. There's a lot of episodes already up there. There's maybe more than 100 up there. So please tune in to any of those. It's all free. So today I want to talk about. I've been on a course for the last couple of days, and you may have caught a broadcast which I did earlier, where I was at the course, which is about creative financing, learning new ways to finance property deals, basically. And sometimes the people who know the most and have been around the longest are the people that need these courses more than anybody else, because they think they know it all. They think there's nothing for them to learn, and yet they're the people who need these courses. It's like anything. You need CPD, continuous professional development, and if you're not doing these courses, then you're falling behind because new strategies come out. And honestly, every day I was listening to every speaker. There was always something new that I learned, and I'm going to go through some of the things later. But one of the ideas I picked up was that there are a lot of people out there that are tenants but would like to be buyers, but they can never quite get the money together to buy, and because they're paying all this rent, they can never quite save up enough to buy, and then by the time that they've saved up a bit of money, the prices have gone up. So there is a scheme, and I can put tenants in touch with landlords who will accept what you would call a tenant buyer. That is someone who is a tenant, but at the same time they're buying their property. And if you're interested in that, let me know, because then instead of paying rent, you could be paying towards the purchase of your property. You could be paying a portion of rent and a portion towards the property. You agree a fixed price for the property at the time, and you might have 2 years, 3 years, 5 years in which to exercise the option to buy, but not necessarily the obligation to buy. So if things don't work out and you can't buy, then you would be able to walk away. So if you're interested in that, if that's something that interests you, then please do drop me a line, charles@charleskelly.net, or you can just text me on Messenger. Just say, look, I'm interested, I'm a tenant buyer, tell me where you live, your name, your phone number, so we can have a chat, and let's see if we can help people get onto the property ladder so they can buy their own property, but give them a leg up by maybe becoming a tenant buyer, as it were. So I think that might be very useful. Other things I picked up on the funding course, it's looking at creative ways of funding, is that you can buy properties with no money down. You can acquire properties through various strategies without necessarily using your own money. And I've said this before, and I've written a book about it, which will be coming out probably next year now, called on how to get rich using other people's money, using debt as well, and not to be afraid of borrowing, using other people's money, joint venturing, and this sort of thing. So I'll be talking about that more over the coming days and weeks, because there's a lot of good stuff in there, particularly if you are a property investor that maybe has either run out of money because you've put all your money into deposits, or is rapidly running out of money, and want to find new ways of acquiring property or controlling property without putting your own money down. And if you'd like more information on a free taster day that you can do for this type of strategy, for learning how to acquire property with no money down, again, drop me a line on Facebook Messenger or at charles@charleskelly.net. And the word for the day is option. Now, option can mean anything. Like an option is like a choice, right? And in property terms, options have been around for quite a while. And basically an option is something that gives you the option to buy something, but not the obligation. So when you're acquiring a property, most people would go down the route of maybe exchanging contracts and then completing after 28 days. But there's other ways of acquiring property and land, and this can be through using different strategies, like a delayed completion, for instance, or a completion subject to gaining planning permission. Another way is for options. A lot of land is acquired by big landowners, big supermarkets, big developers, big house builders that build tens and twenties and thirties of thousands of houses each year. They will often take an option on land and hold that option maybe for many years. So they're not putting down the whole of the money for that option. They're just holding it so that no one else can buy it but them, and they've got time in which to complete on or exercise that option. And if things don't work out, or they don't get the planning permission, or they don't need the land anymore, they don't have to buy it. They don't have to exercise that option. If they don't exercise the option, then the option just expires, and the land goes back to the owner. If they don't exercise that option, you can have options in shares as well. People can own or control shares without necessarily owning them. You can sell a property without necessarily owning it fully outright yourself. So there's lots of different strategies, and I think if you're serious about property, then this is something you should be doing, because no one's going to have unlimited sources of money unless your backer is the Sultan of Brunei, and even then they would say, well, hold on a second, have we done enough here? But, so you've got to look at more creative ways of buying, acquiring and controlling property than just straightforward buy it and sell it, or purchase it and sell it, purchase and complete and purchase it and rent out to a normal tenant. For one thing, purchasing and selling the property attracts a lot of taxation in the form of stamp duty. If you, as a buy-to-let investor, you buy property for $500,000 or so, you're paying 30-odd thousand in stamp duty. Then when you sell it for a profit, you're paying capital gains tax or corporation tax if you're doing it through a limited company. So look at these more creative ways that can often legally avoid having to pay things like stamp duty, where you can you can control and sell a property for a profit without necessarily completing on it and owning it and then paying all the stamp duty, etc. Okay, so that's the word of the day, option. It's the option to buy something, but not the obligation to buy. And it works out, it's not just good for the person holding the option, it can be good for the owner as well. And obviously consideration has to be made, a fee has to be paid for the option, but this can be as little as £1, it could be 1,000, 10,000, 5,000 or more. It just depends on the size of the deal and the type of deal that's been structured. So that's options. And once again, if you're into property, if you want to get into property investment, drop me a line and we'll get you onto some taster courses to get you started. And if you're in property for many, many years and you think you need a refresher, you need to do your CPD, then also get in touch, because I think these things could benefit you even more than somebody who's just a newbie, because maybe you're stuck in old ways, you've got fixed ideas, well, you can't do things that way, it can't be done. When I heard many people in the audience have been in property for many years saying, why would they do that? They can't do that. I said, no, look, these deals have been done all the time and you can do it, and people are doing it, and people are doing it every day of the week. Just that your mindset is telling you this can't be done. So in a way you're right, because if you believe it can't be done, you're not going to get it done. So that's all for now. Drop me a line if you're interested in any of these courses, and we can get you on a free taste a day so that you can get started in property. It's a wonderful business. It's a wonderful way of acquiring assets, and there are lots of ways you can raise money without necessarily just going down a straightforward mortgage route like the majority of people do. So thanks very much for listening. This is Charles Kelly bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, invest, accumulate and enjoy more money.